welcome to the closing beat, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great long St. Patrick's Day weekend. Uneventful for me. Got some work done around the office here. I have this thing in my head. I'm making a video of it so I can share it with you guys, but I got this thing in my head that I want to build, but I can't get anybody to really help me because it's up here. So I'm working on it. Anyways, we're financial advisors here at JazzWealth. We do take investing seriously, but everything else sort of lighthearted. This is just a quick show that we do to go over the stock markets. All we ask, you keep us in mind at JazzWealth. We work with beginner investors. We work with all investors, really. But we just want to be a place of comfort that people can go, a fiduciary financial advisor with no strings attached, no gimmicks, no games, no expense funds, by the way. We don't have any expenses on our funds. And really just kind of be as transparent as possible without people having to worry. So I hope you'll check us out at JazzWealth. We do something good for you here today. Also, hey, if you're one of our customers or if you're thinking about us, here's what we have. Inside of our little portal here, there's a video library. These are all private videos that we don't actually share publicly like these videos one you're watching now. But this is all in there for you, ranging from geeky classes and really basic classes as well. And then we have our dashboard. If you want to follow along with me, just like I do here for the closing beat, and you want to learn a little bit about the markets, our goal is to teach. We're a teaching firm at heart, and so I hope you'll keep us in mind there. That's all I have for my sales pitch. Not very good. Anyways, let's talk about the markets here. It is Monday. We've got the Dow higher on the day, still held back by Boeing a little bit. Not a big deal. If you'll notice, kind of at the bottom right-hand side of your screen, right towards the end of the day, a little more risk on. What did we see Friday? Right towards the end of the day, a little more risk on right before the weekends. We talked about that investors weren't sort of scared to go over the weekends. There was no reason they wouldn't want to own the markets. And today we saw that again, right at the end of the day. That they call that the smart money. If you're not familiar with this, by the way, they say that the dumb money, and that's their terms, not mine, dumb money buys in the morning. Smart money buys before the close. The rest of the day is just chop and trading and adjustments to positions. So when we say, if I happen to slip and say smart money bought into the close, that's all that means. The big companies, the people with the research and that understand what they're doing, they say the retail investors buy in the morning. There's your lesson of the day. So anyways, with that in mind, the markets finished positive towards the end of the day, all basically about the same. You got about 1/3% gain on the day. Now this week, news is kind of light. If you happen to follow financial media today, the Bloombergs and the CNBCs and the Wall Street Journal and stuff, the focus was really on Boeing, Facebook, and Lyft. We'll cover all those here in a second. But this week, you got a little bit of earnings coming out. FedEx is one, DSW tomorrow. Just a handful of names, really. And then the Fed meeting midweek, of course, we'll cover that as that happens there. And so that's pretty much it. Markets were just a little more positive today. We keep this sort of, they call it a melt-up approach, meaning it's not a rocket ship. The excitement from the beginning of the year has all but wore off, but yet we're still grinding higher slowly. Let me show you, since we got a little extra time today. If you look at the chart here, the S&P 500, here is the end of the year. This is where everybody panicked and decided to sell. I went through every single week with customers how not to panic through that, by the way. Just saying. Don't panic when the markets fall. Anyways, sharp recovery, excitement, fireworks. Look at the recovery. Oh my God, it's going to be fine. And then, oh, do we go higher? Look at the range in between each day, the day's range. Back over here, I'm going to zoom in for you. The day's range, the difference between the low portion and the high portion of each day, if you're unfamiliar with candlesticks, that's all I'm talking about, was wide and massive and exciting. And now the range between each day is very tight and tiny and compressed right in there. Very few exciting days, mostly just what we call melting up. It's not bad news. It just gives you an idea of how exciting the market is right now. A little bit of a breather. Monday, good day, but a little bit quiet. All right, part of the reason for that, you got a little bit of Jell-O on the plate. We're just hitting you with all the phrases today. If you took Jell-O and you put it on a plate and you tried to walk to serve it, it'd be all like bouncing around, kind of funny, not really making clear direction one way or the other. It wouldn't fall off the plate, wouldn't stay on the plate. It'd just kind of be sliding around being goofy. So some of the reason for that, you got communication services a little bit lower today, almost lost 1%. I actually don't mind this pullback here. We talked about this consolidation near highs. Great little blast off to new highs with heavier volume, showing that people bought that. This pullback very calm and controlled. like 17% or something is of this sector is ETF is Facebook. Facebook had a bad day today. You got Facebook down 3.33%. They've got privacy issues, streaming issues, the unfortunate terrorist thing over there. So a lot of concerns. Also, they were downgraded today. And because of that, you got communication services lower on the day. That held back a little chunk of the markets there. REITs also pulling back a little bit on the day. You don't mind that either, because if you invested in REITs, like our REIT fund is killing it. And it's not because I'm magic. It's just because we're allocated properly in the sector and diversified, and the sector's just taken off. It's just been an amazing, amazing runner since the lows here. One of the better performing areas. So if it pulls back, you really don't care. It's a healthy pullback. It's a break. It's calm a little bit. And utilities a little bit lower. Oops. I'll use XLU to show that. Utilities a little bit lower on the day. Go back to last week. I did more of a detailed overview on how this is technically overpriced and fundamentally overpriced as well. Gave you the stats on what happens next. Semiconductors a little bit lower on the day, but doesn't really hurt too many things. Just a tiny, tiny little move lower. Oil was higher, continuing to sort of push higher after we got that news last week that Saudi Arabia would extend their cuts into April. Go back a little bit, and we found out that Saudi Arabia said, we're going to cut production more than expected by about 500,000 barrels a day, more than we were expecting. That helped support the price of oil. We didn't really believe them when it became true. Oil, right, got a little support there. And now Saudi Arabia is saying, we're just going to extend it into April. So a nice little, they call it a tailwind for the price of oil there in the midterm. Banking stocks did really well. I was browsing through all of our portfolios. We do it every day. And in the banking, any banking stocks that we own in our dividend fund or aggressive stock fund, small cap, large cap, all were at the top of the list, the better performers, the Wells Fargo's, Bank of America's, JP Morgan, the big banks. They had a good day today. If you want to look at it as a whole, you can look at the ETF, symbols XLF, very popular one here, added 1% on the day and poked above the little resistance area. Why am I using my hands when you can see the charts? Right here. Little resistance here. The 200-day moving average was acting as a bit of resistance. Today, you get people saying, okay, it's going to break. If you were short there or you were betting on it pulling back, you kind of had your moment. It is now time to exit. They bought back their positions. I wouldn't call it a short squeeze, but you say a little bit of a short covering rally, ultra short term. I shouldn't have even said that, really. Not that big of a deal. Boeing, a little bit lower on the day again. We got the FAA looking and the Department of Transportation and a grand jury out of Washington looking into the certifications on the 737 MAX. Why did they get those certifications and the sort of process that they went through? Was there any wrongdoing there? I don't know. I'm reporting the news to you there. That's what they're working on. So there was an analyst somewhere too that said the effects of what's going on right now will last for years. That's sort of misleading. I don't like that, because are you saying that it's going to affect the stock price for years, or that they're going to be dealing with the lawsuits and things for years? That's a fair statement. I mean, if you're saying the stock price is going to be affected for years, that's aggressive, right? That's a nice reason to put out a news article. If you're just saying that this is going to affect them for years, I think we all kind of know that. Anyways, moving on. There's a company called WorldPay. We brought this up, I want to say like 2 or 3 weeks ago. A company was working on acquisitions. Well, it officially became public that Fidelity National, or if you want to look it up, the symbol's FIS. This is the company that bought them. Broke to new highs, by the way. Anyways, WorldPay getting bought out. It works out to be about, in cash, $35 billion. How it works, if you own this stock, basically what's going to happen is, when this goes through, if you own WorldPay, you're going to get $11 per share. They're just going to give you $11. You're going to wake up one day, you're going to see $11 in your account. You're also going to get, I believe, 9/10 of a share for every share you own of WorldPay. 9/10 a share for FIS. So just know that transaction going through, great little purchase for them. Those FIS just continuing to dominate. Caesar. There you go. Caesars Entertainment, casinos. This is what we're talking about here. El Dorado Resorts, they are working on a merger with them. Remember, Carl Icahn took a big position in Caesars and then was able to get 3 of his board members on the board of Caesars. And so now, if this was the entire goal, you could see Caesars merging with El Dorado. It was a quiet day for news. I don't know if you like the drama sort of thing behind investing. I read about it. I don't really care at the end of the day, but shows how quiet a day it was. Tilray's up a little bit higher. Everybody likes your pot stocks there. The company reported, this is a tough one. They reported earnings that missed expectations, but we really don't have a good grasp of what expectations should be. It's such a new company to start reporting earnings and to report any earnings. So a little bit tough. They missed on earnings, just not enough to compare it to. Revenue was a bit better than expected, but I mean this seriously. I'm going to bring this up every single time. The company had revenues for the quarter of $15.5 million. Million, right? They are currently worth $7 billion. Who gets that kind of treatment? Go try to find another public company that makes $15 million a quarter, $60 million a year, if that, by the time we get through it, and is worth $7 billion. You are paying an obscene amount of money to participate in this stock. You are, as Robert Herjavec on Shark Tank would say, you're investing in operational excellence. Not only that, the CEO just couldn't even answer the question on TV, why are you selling so many of your shares? He was like, and I'm not making fun of him, but he literally said, and couldn't answer the question until he remembered his advisors told him, oh yeah, you're supposed to say for diversity and tax reasons. That's the answer that they always give. You're actually coached as a CEO to say that so that you get away with that sort of question on financial media. He couldn't even remember the answer to it. $15 million in revenue for the quarter, worth $7 billion. Whew. Now, as far as their overall sales, here's how this works. How do you measure pot? So, sales per kilogram is looking like it's going to be the metric that everybody follows. We've had a few earnings now, and sales per kilogram is sort of the hot button. That's up over 3 times last quarter's earnings, 300 times, I should say. So you like that. They're selling more, 15 plants, etc., and all that. But again, 15 million in revenue, worth $7 billion, right? Have I said enough to piss off somebody and leave a comment and say, come on, man, move on? Anyways, hey, FedEx coming up tomorrow with their earnings after the market closes, by the way, so you got all day to decide. FedEx is right smack popping out of a little bit of a downtrend here. Very tiny, loses a point in my opinion, not the strongest downtrend you can have. Just take a look. It's wanting to pop up there. Tomorrow's earnings, if they do well, you could easily see that thing break out of there. If they do poorly, downtrend continues. That's my way of giving you both sides so you don't say, or nobody can say I gave advice. Edwards Life Sciences broke to new highs. Check this out. They're working with Medtronic, if you're familiar with them. They're working on non-invasive heart valve replacement. I had to look at the way this thing looks. And they were working together on this and announced that they had positive results from these tests, study, physical tests that they've been doing. Really cool stuff. Just, you talk about geeky. We talk about numbers. You're talking about the heart. That's impressive. Anyways, so stock was higher, sharply higher on the day. Marriott, a little bit higher on the day. This follows up from Friday. They got a 3-year growth plan to try to get you to look away from the data breach there. They had an investor meeting today, and they're going to open more than 16 or 1,700 hotels. And so just a massive sort of, look at what we're doing. Don't pay any attention to the hack. Look at what we're doing. So that's just a fun way to kind of say it there. Good company, though. I don't have any problems against them. Amazon, a little bit higher today, back above the 200-day moving average there. So we'd mentioned a few times, right? If you see a ceiling and you see someone trying to punch through the ceiling, wait for them to get through the ceiling, right? See what's going on there. So Amazon trying to make a move back above highs there. And that's pretty much all I have for you for now. Yeah, that's all I got there. So all in all, very quiet, melt up kind of a day. It's a simple way to say it. It's kind of like the markets just started moving higher and it really wasn't any excitement either way, just a slow kind of move higher. Lower volume, lower excitement, not a real big deal there. Okay, that's all I have for you. If I helped you in some way, maybe you'll hit the subscribe button. If you won't hit the subscribe button and you're not a customer, maybe you'll leave us a review on Google. I'm not actually allowed to ask for reviews from customers. So if you're not a customer and I've helped you in some way, maybe you'll say, hey, he helped me out. If you think there's room for improvement, that's cool too. Just be honest, leave a review, that's fine with me. Very helpful. It's very helpful. We're just a small company trying to grow, and we're trying to do the right thing for people. So, there's all kinds of little struggles along the way, but we'll keep up the good thing there. And I really appreciate you guys watching today. We'll be back tomorrow. Yep, we're going to do it all over again. Yeah, that's all I have for you. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Why should you choose JazzWealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Our private classes will teach you everything about investing and getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.